Hello everyone, welcome to Infigon Talks. My name is Vaibhavi and I will be the host for today's interview. And as you know, Infigon Talks is a part of Infigon Futures flagship program where mentors from various institutes motivate and inspire aspiring students across the country. And today for this, we have with us Mr. Suchintak Bhattacharya. He is currently working as a senior business analyst in Cognizant and has done his MBA from IIM Ranchi. So welcome to Infigon Talks, Mr. Suchintak.
I'm just happy to be here.
Amazing. So let's dive in. As I said earlier, you have pursued an MBA from IIM Ranchi in finance and marketing as your majors. So what was your reason for pursuing an MBA?
See, I had a degree in mechanical engineering. That was from 2012 to 16. All right. So I have always been interested in the business side of things, to be very honest. So I started working. I had, an unconventional career, so as to say. I started working in the manufacturing sector and I was a production manager. And I was working in the rural hinterlands of West Bengal, okay, in a factory with village laborers and everything. So after working there, I realized that in order to, achieve my aspirations, which was to work in the business side of things, and just to gain knowledge about the business side of things, I felt the need to pursue an MBA. I always considered pursuing MBA as an option, but during my 3 years there, that is when I realized the absolute necessity of it. And then I went on to pursue my MBA. I had other colleges as well. I wanted to go to an IIM because I wanted an education that was rooted in India's realities, basically. Right? We know that an MBA, it is a case study based education methodology. So I wanted to, study in an ecosystem that would have me focus on the nitty-gritties of the Indian business ecosystem. That was one of the reasons why I chose an IIM.
Amazing. And as you said, the ecosystem experience, and I'm sure you must have experienced it nicely, and all the expectations were met. So the next question I would like to ask, going back to your preparation days when you prepared for your CAT exams. So how did you prepare for those, and what were the difficulties you faced?
Fair enough. So when it comes to, gaining an entry into, I'd say, a tier 1 or tier 2 educational institution in this country for an MBA, right? So first of all, you have to clear some kind of an entrance test. Okay. The entrance test will primarily focus on your quantitative ability, your logical reasoning and data interpretation faculties, and then you would have a test of reading ability. And there are certain exams which would also test your general awareness, right? So if we talk about CAT, okay. So in fact, to be very honest, it was my second attempt at CAT. Okay. Both times I appeared for CAT 2017 and 2018, right? Because I'm a 19 to 21 MBA. So both times my percentile was in the mid 97s. Mainly, how to put it? Let's say I have some background of active problem solving because I'm an engineer. Okay, as in I have faced MCQs long before I'd say BCom graduates or arts graduates. So engineers have some advantage there, but that is very limited to the quantitative ability part. Apart from that, you have to focus on the other two. And I had given plenty of mocks, just, that's as simple. Practice and mocks. That's it. Apart from mocks, I have not really been affiliated to any tuition center in the country apart from mocks here, because I don't really like going to classes. Plus, I didn't have the time. I'm working 6 days a week, 10 hours a day, that too with a lot of traveling. I just did not have the energy to, put on clothes and just go to on my one weekend, one day of rest that I get. I just refuse to go to a tuition center. Okay, so I was just focusing on my mocks, and I had books, the practice that comes with consistency every night. I take pride in that. I never took a day off. And apart from, I have always been, I would say, a policy geek. Okay, I have been watching TV debates and everything for as far back as I can remember. And I'm an avid reader of newspapers as well. And by newspapers, I mean not articles on Facebook that come on my news feed, proper newspapers that come to my house. I've always been doing that. Okay. So that helped me with the general awareness part as well, because I have done well in exams that have general awareness. I have done better in them actually. For example, for the Symbiosis group of colleges, you have SNAP, right? The exam, it has GK. I had a 99.67 percentile in SNAP, and I ended up converting SIBM Pune. I later did not join, that's a different story. I had a 99 percentile in NM, even though NM doesn't have GK. IIFT has GK. I had a 97.8 percentile in IFT as well. So I guess that's about it for my preparation.
Amazing. So tell us about your life inside IIM. How was it?
See, if you take a look at the number of things that you can do inside an IIM, right? Number one, you have academics. If you want to do it properly, the pressure can be immense. And then MBAs have a lot of case study competitions. This is one aspect of MBA life. You have live projects that are floated. That kind of gives you a flavor of working for companies from a remote location, basically, working on very specific problem statements. So you have live projects, case study competitions, acads, and then most proper B schools in this country, they make a big deal of having a lot of student run activities, which is why we have clubs and committees. So you have clubs and committees as well. You can sit for the selection processes. You can get selected into a club and committee, a club or a committee, and then once that happens, you can devote your, I'd say, productive energy there, achieving certain objectives. Whether it's making a fest better, whether it's getting participation from other colleges, you can do stuff. If I talk about myself, I have been focused on academics and life projects mainly. It is very difficult to do all four, considering there is also placement pressure, by the way. And also, if you are like me, you would want to have a nice social life. Okay. So everything being combined, to be very honest, I do not know anyone who does everything pretty decently. So you have to sacrifice on some accounts, I guess. You have to make a trade-off. At least that is what I have done. There are geniuses that do a lot of things very well altogether. I'm not one of them. ACADS, uh, live projects. I had a couple of live projects in IIM Ranchi. One was I was working with a startup called Urban Rasoi. So this company was getting into the B2C segment from the B2B segment, right? They are a meal delivery service. So I was working on devising a strategy for them. And the second live project was very interesting. There is this company called Sports Jig. So they have their app, they connect co-players for outdoor sports in Bangalore and Mumbai. So we wanted to devise a digital engagement strategy for them, because they felt that you cannot really, people are not spending a lot of time on their app. So I had these two live projects. There is ACADS. See, I'm a finance major, right? So that comes with its, also I have certificate. You can go for certifications, because a lot of people, they are going for their CFAs, and there are certifications in supply chain as well. You can be a certified supply chain professional or an analyst. I'm a certified supply chain analyst. That was during college. So I am an ACADS driven guy, but a lot of people are not. So, some people have achieved a great deal from their, I'd say, club and committee work. But these are the things you can do. So as I said, I focused on live projects, ACADS, and I have taken a couple of jabs at corporate competitions. I have failed at them. That's about it.
You explained it so in depth. So appreciated. That's really appreciated. As you said, you are a mechanical engineering graduate. So being an engineer, did you face any challenges coping up with the subjects related to finance?
To be very honest, yes. Okay. If we are talking about finance, there is this one particular aspect of finance which forms the backbone of it, I'd say. At some elementary level, that foundation is very important, and that is having some knowledge of accounts. Now, when it comes to business accountancy, not only am I a novice, I am terrible at it. So this made sure that, first of all, business education, if you are considering finance, right, first it always starts with accountancy. And I have struggled at accountancy so much that it kind of gives you, a blow to your confidence. At least to a lot of engineers. I am relatively shameless, so I kind of soldier on. I have that spirit, but a lot of people, they do not. And then without exposure, and then once it gets into finance, right, then if you keep on, I'd say, focusing, if you keep on drilling day after the other, then it becomes easier. It is difficult because, again, everything is very new, but the core skills that are required for being a finance guy, the core skills that are required, you have to be very sharp with your quantitative abilities. You have to have an interest in how companies operate in general. Once you have that, it's achievable. So yes, I had problems. It was a new ocean that was diving into completely. There are still aspects of finance that I struggle with, most definitely, but it's achievable.
The fact that you are saying your imperfections and your mistakes needs a lot of courage, I think. And I personally think that imperfections have their own charisma. So, moving ahead, how was your transition from an MBA life to corporate life?
Again, it was not the easiest. But I would say, see, that's the beauty about MBA, right? Apart from being a strict academic degree, an MBA, we keep hearing this buzzword, right? That an MBA gives you exposure. So, what is exposure basically? As I said, I had opportunities for life projects. Everyone had. A lot of them didn't go for life projects. That is their decision completely. But given life projects, given my internship, also considering that I also have some professional background before I came into MBA. So I am not exactly new to working for a company. I'm not exactly new to working, with a team of strangers. You have to adapt immediately. Right. So I'm not new to this. I have been changing ecosystems for a very long time, and I will continue to do that in the future as well. This is adaptability is one of the most important skills that you can hope to have. So I guess based on all these experiences that I have had, it was this made my journey easy, number one. Number two, an MBA degree, it really makes you work on problems outside of your comfort zone. We have case study competitions. Hero is telling me how to sell bikes, solve this problem statement. Xiaomi is telling me how to sell mobile phones, solve this problem statement. What do I know about both of them? Nothing, absolutely. But I have to do it anyway. Once you keep on taking challenges like this, you keep on working on problem statements that are new to you, that will give you this confidence that you have adaptability and you can do that. Because again, adaptability and learnability, cornerstones of an MBA degree. So it was, I'd say, challenging because I'm working, if you think about it, it's an IT consulting service. As I said, I have no background with computers. In fact, I had a lot of trouble installing Zoom once things went online. So again, if you keep both adaptability and learnability as your cornerstones, you'll just soldier on and things will work out.
Say like balance, a perfect balance is something which is very important, as you said. So last question for the day. Actually, I'm not feeling like saying this, like the last question, because I feel like hearing you for the whole day. But anyways, the last question, please give some tips to aspiring students who want to get into an IIM. Tips, suggestions, strategies.
See, well, that I can go on for an hour on that, but I'll try to compress it. Okay. If you're planning to go for an MBA, right, at a tier 1 or tier 2B school, number one priority that you have is clearing CAT. If you want to clear CAT, what can you do? You have to sit at home and you have to study. There is no option. Find out what works for you. I have never been to a class for CAT. I've never been to one. I absolutely hate attending classes. I've always landed in trouble for attendance throughout my life. So there is no formula. Preparation is not a science. It's more of an art. There is no hard and fast rule that works for everyone. I went to certain tuitions, you go to the same tuitions, you will learn, no, it doesn't work like that. You will have to put in the work at the end of the day, find out what works for you. Okay, if you are more comfortable sitting back at home, going for online lectures, go for that. If you want offline lectures, go for that. If you think that you need someone external to enforce a kind of discipline on you, ताकि time पे syllabus complete हो जाए, these constraints, then go for an external tuition. ठीक है. But at the end of the day, it is sheer hard work and discipline. There is no magic anywhere. You have to sit back at home. You have to find time off your routine and you will have to slog it off. Keep on, just practice plenty of MCQs. Keep on doing that, plenty of reading comprehensions and parajumbles and whatnot. Just keep on doing that and sit for mocks consistently. And very important, by the way, once you appear for mocks, you will have the results, analyze the mocks. Where have you struggled? What could you have done better? Most proper training institutes, if you take a look at Career Launch, if you take a look at Time, if you take a look at IMS, they have detailed mock analyses and they do a wonderful job at that. So you will just have to slog it through. There is literally no other option. However, trust me, there are plenty and plenty of people. I have seen a lot of people who are very short-sighted. They want to appear for CAT, which is wonderful. But why do they want to do an MBA, which is the first question that you are asked in an interview? They are reminded that this question exists after the day of the CAT results. That is because their preparation has been very short-sighted throughout their journey, right? your preparation, the number of 99 percentiles that I know who have failed at landing a decent college, it's too high. Okay. That is because they struggle at interviews. That is because they struggle at GDs. Because if you take a look at the weightages that a college places at the different elements, CAT score is what, 30 to 40% of the weightage? Who will save you in the other 60%? In the other 60%, you get a 0 in the 20 marks that is allotted to interview. No college in India will touch you. It does not matter if you're a 99 percentiler. People lose sight of this fact. To be very honest, now I am speaking like a wise sage, but as I said, I have been a policy geek all my life. I've been reading news all my life. So this has, I'd say, by some stroke of luck, this has worked in my favor. Because in the short 15 days that you get after the declaration of results and your first interview, trust me, you cannot go through 20 years of current affairs and general awareness. It doesn't work like that. Plus, there are HR questions. A lot of engineers from the rural hinterlands of India, they struggle with their fluency in English, their diction. They struggle in GDs. This is, everyday reality. So I would recommend to, keep an eye on the distant goal that is interviews. And plus, one more thing, if you get into an IIM or any college of your dream, your journey doesn't end there. You're not getting into an IIM to be in an IIM. You're getting into an IIM because of the job interviews that will apply, that will appear in later on, and then you'll go on to your corporate life. Who's going to save you there? There is no CAT there. So you'll have your GDs and PIs all over again. So it is very important to keep an eye on that, to not be short-sighted. And while we're working on CAT, just log it off. Consistency is everything. That's it.
Amazing. Thanks a lot, Mr. Suchintak, for giving us this reality check and giving us the crystal clear idea about exactly what happens inside an IIM and throughout the process. So thanks once again to join us today for this interaction. It was actually a fun and knowledgeable interaction, and for sure our viewers will take your guidance as the most valuable one and implement it somewhere. That's what matters the most. So see you next time. Until then, for what it's worth, drop a like, share, and subscribe to Infigone Futures. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.